You're now tuned in to the Soulful Stir with Tash and Diamond Symoné.
We are live. Happy Sunday, y'all.
Happy Sunday.
Did y'all miss us?
Yeah.
We had to take a little break.
Yeah, we had to take a break. It was necessary. I had stuff I had to do and I needed to focus. But we back. Like cook crack. Well, not necessarily
Back like
because
cook crack is crazy.
I mean, it's just a saying, but not necessarily because it's just such a negative connotation. Like, this show is good for the soul.
I hope that doesn't come
like
back.
it doesn't destroy lives, and all that other stuff. But we back.
Yeah, well, what's good? Tell me something good. What's going on in your life?
Man, nothing. I'm just trying to get my life back, man. I'm trying to reclaim my time. And I'm trying to put me first, Lucius. That's all I can say.
That's important.
I'm just really trying to, now that I have a weight lifted and I can kind of navigate a little bit better on my own terms and on my own time, I'm really just trying to figure it out. Like, I thought about that my whole way home this week. Like, when I was driving home on Wednesday, I was like, so what am I going to do now? Like, what do I do when I wake up? Like, what do I do when it's middle of the day? Like, I was so consumed with all the preparation and all this other stuff that now that it's kind of over, it's like a little bit of an emptiness or void, so to speak, because you just done. I've still been working this whole time, and I'm gonna go back to work. I ain't never stopped working, but I'm gonna still be working, but I don't do nothing enough that like it fills my time. So in the last day I read a book and a half. I've really done nothing. I've had a lot of time to just chill. So I think that's good because I really needed the break. But I'm about to, I have some things that I'm looking forward to doing this month to further my knowledge and education and skills in certain areas. So I'm looking forward to that. Taking some some classes, doing a little bit of this, doing a little bit of that. Just moving how Tash be moving.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. I'm glad you're taking some time to recalibrate, and I can imagine what that's like. I feel like I'm turn that off.
I didn't realize it when I opened the screen.
Turn that off. We in a minute we're potting. But yeah, I can't imagine what that's like. Or I can actually, because I've been thinking like, what am I gonna do with my time once grad school is over? And I've got it mapped out for sure, but because I got other projects that's loading. And speaking of which, I had a pretty good day today. I had a great meeting with a lady who has developed an app for people to donate breast milk. And it was a very interesting meeting. She explained to me the ins and outs of how the app works. It is, I think it's a revolutionary product that they're offering. So I did that, and I gained 3 clients this week for doula work. So
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm happy about that. Happy to serve. I've lost 10 pounds since being in the gym and being intentional about what I'm eating, and I feel like that's a win for me because I know people say don't get on the scale, but I be on that motherfucker sometimes. I do. I be needing to know, like, did I lose a little? Did I do something? Like something. But it's going well. Like, I really just been focusing on the things that work best for my body, and also being intentional about food. All the things that the gym girlies say, getting my water in, all that good stuff. So I'm slowly seeing the results of that. And I also like to add, I feel like I'm seeing the results of my skin like changing and in a good way. It's like it's glowing. My hyperpigmentation is fading. I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell? Maybe no.
No, the lighting is not really the
Oh,
best in here.
it's okay.
You know, we got low
We have to be in
lighting.
sunlight or something. But yeah, there's a difference. I'm seeing it. I can feel it in the integrity of my skin. Like I didn't have terrible skin to begin with, but blemishes very irritating.
Yeah, the blood flow to this like to your face and other parts of your body that you experience while working out is like you can't duplicate it like in other ways. Like, like how people can, oh, well, if I don't sit in the sauna, I can do this at home and like steam my face. You can't, like that blood flow. I don't care how much you roll and like do anything else on your face. You're not gonna get like the blood flow to your face is like out of this world when you work out. Like it, because like you lifting, you doing different stuff, and like when your face start getting hot, you know that blood is flowing. And I think like that's one of the things I love about being in the gym. Like, yes, I do like, working out, I guess, and making my body feel good, but I know on a beauty level, it helps with so much. You know what I'm saying? Like just your skin, sitting in the sauna, it'll help your like the blood flow to your scalp will help with hair growth. It's so much stuff that you get from going to the gym. And I will say, speaking of, congratulations on losing 10 pounds. But girl, I know the gym is working because I went to the doctor and she said, oh, you weigh 128 pounds. And I was like, girl, what? Like, I was 128 pounds when I was 8 months pregnant. Like, that's crazy. And I was like, are you serious? And, just because of the stuff that I discussed about, just like grief and the stuff that I've experienced, he was like, I just want to make sure you're not losing weight. And I was like, no, this is a big weight gain for me. And he was like, oh, wow, that's, like that's interesting. I'm like, yeah, I ain't never felt like I've actually been getting the gains that I've been working. Like I can see them sometimes, but actually seeing it and seeing the numbers change on the scale is a little different for me.
Yeah, I agree. There's something different about seeing those numbers switch up for you.
Yeah.
I do want to jump into mind, body, and balance. I know I said I didn't have nothing, but I just realized that I didn't talk about this. And it ties into the work that I've been doing on myself and, just working on consistency. I've come to realize, and I've seen this posted somewhere many times, this idea of perfectionism that we carry, it actually doesn't exist. And I don't think that people think about that like enough. I mean, I feel like we're more grounded in the idea of perfectionism and trying to be this perfect version of ourselves. But it's like, well, what does that actually look like? Like, what are you modeling yourself after to seek perfection? And anyway, and all that we do.
I just
And I,
come up with it myself. Like I
yeah,
just make up my own.
but I feel like it doesn't really exist. And my thought is that I feel like it doesn't exist because I feel like the target is always moving. It's always going to move. Because when you get to that ideal space, like, maybe you get to an ideal space mentally or physically, it's going to be something else like that pops up. It generally is. You can be content, right? But it might be something else that like hinders this idea of quote unquote perfectionism. I don't know. I just don't think that it's a thing. It
What?
doesn't really exist.
Well, I don't look at, so maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's just me like but I've always been like this, but I don't look at the idea of perfectionism being a forever thing. Like, because I'm one of those people that I create my idea of perfectionism and I'm chasing that, but it's in that moment. It's like in this part of my life, this is what I want it to look like. And I do all the things that align with what I want it to look like. And then I can easily say in the next season of my life, I want this. And then I will decide when that next season start coming. And then that's what I'm striving for in the different. But I'm just by nature just never satisfied with anything. It's hard for me to get content in something. Like once I sit in something for too long, I get restless and it starts to show in a lot of different ways depending on the situation. But yeah, so
So I just saw something that like sparked my mind in a different way. So it's like, and someone said the idea of perfectionism doesn't exist outside of our imagination. And so maybe that's what it is like for me. Like in ideally in the real world, it doesn't really exist because nobody is perfect, no situation is
no.
perfect, like nothing is actually perfect. So when I feel like in anything, I feel like people we fixate on something so much that we don't really get to live in the moment of the journey and just to enjoy like where we are in the now, in the present. We so focused on like, oh, I gotta do this and it has to look like this and it has to be this way and I gotta like, it's nothing wrong with having a goal in mind, but I think that perfectionism, just like comparison, is just for me it's another thief of joy, because it's, you know, the world is always evolving and the target is always moving. We're always evolving as humans.
Yeah.
So like you said, like your idea of perfectionism, it changes. And so how do you really be content? Like how do you get to a space of that where it's like, oh, perfect,
But that's what I'm
done.
saying. Some people don't want that. Like I don't ever want to feel like that. When I get to a space when I feel like I'm content and things are right where they should be, I feel like then it's time to go ahead and change the level and then change it again. Like I don't want to be content. Like that's the worst. That's the one thing that I run from is I don't want, which is crazy because by nature I'm a very committed, very loyal person, but I can't do content. Like I still have to have a level of newness in things, and I think that's what the chase is for me in a lot of things. Like even now, you know, like I'll tell people all the time, like I want to go back to school, and people are like, why? You're a lawyer, you have this, you have that. Because that's not enough. Like it's just not enough for me. And it's because once again, like I was just saying, what do? I just go to work and come home?
Yeah.
No, that's not okay. I want something else. I want a second job. I want, I do something. We record once a week. Okay, the other days of those weeks, what am I going to do? Like, I go to the gym, I work from home, I go to the office. What am I supposed to do in those other times? That's the chase for me is filling that extra time with something.
Does that like does that kind of walk into the idea of perfectionism or more along the lines of a testament to your ambition though? And because I saw something else that said you can be content and ambitious at the same time. And I never like,
Well,
I felt so seen.
I don't honestly look at it necessarily as ambition with me all the time. Some of it is, but some of it is just pure curiosity and just wanting something. Like, because like I said, I'll take a class, I'll do different stuff, I'll sign up for stuff, like, because I just like learning stuff, and it's not necessarily that I'm going to use it. Like I went through all of that, passed the real estate, you know what I'm saying, licensing course, have got my license, and I don't use it. I just got it because it's something good to have. Like, so it wasn't even the ambition of like I'm about to be practicing law during the day, selling houses at night. Like if it gets to that point, oh, I'm going to run with it, but that wasn't my intention. It was just like, why not? You know what I'm saying? It's something to do. That's not, that in my mind is constructive. It was, which is weird because I thought it was going to teach me something that I did not know. And being that I had a whole semester of property, like, which is all the law and all that stuff in law school, it was nothing for me to pass the exam. Like, it was a lot of the stuff that I had already learned in school, but once again, it was something for me to do. Like, it was just something. So like now I be thinking about taking classes and stuff, and my mom would be like, that's just really crazy, but whatever. I just be wanting stuff to do.
I mean, I feel like there's
and
nothing wrong with the challenge in that way for sure. Because I feel the same way.
and I know me, if I don't feel it with something like school, it's gonna be destructive. And it's weird because I was talking to Felicia yesterday, and we was talking about something, and I had this epiphany, and she was like, what I'm upset about is that you're almost 40 and that this is a real thing for you right now. And I was like, I can't believe it either. Like, she was like, this is something that I expected or that you used to do when we were young. Like she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm bored. Like I'm just at this point where I gotta feel the
But that's part of
space.
the evolution, right? Because we never stop evolving, and so you're just tapping into a new
Yeah.
way of evolving. I came across this concept called Gambaru. I think is how you pronounce it. It's a Japanese cultural concept, and this concept translates to essentially doing one's best. And so that basically it ties into the idea of perfectionism for me, and the fact that sometimes we get so hyper focused on the perfect outcome stuff that we actually don't just sit in the moment and really go deep into just simply doing your best for the day, but also realizing that your best might not be what it looked like yesterday. It might not be what it looked like or it's gonna look like tomorrow. You're
Yeah.
just simply doing your best for the day. And so I think that looking at it from that perspective, I'm in this mode of like, I just get to show up, and or I'm choosing to show up and just simply be. And that takes the pressure off of me, especially like being someone that does deal with social anxiety and not wanting to be around like a bunch of people all the time. That's always been my vibe, by the way. This is nothing new since I can ever like remember being social. I think it just helps me to kind of relinquish that feeling of having to show up and be a certain way. I gotta look a certain way. I have to dress a certain way. You know, I have to be perfect. I don't have to be anything, technically. Well, I do have to be something, right? We have responsibilities. I like to be something, but I was reading this about this concept, and something that stuck out says that while the drive to improve and achieve is a desired outcome, and that's central to Gambaru, it doesn't necessarily involve self criticism, fear of failure, and unrealistic expectations that are often associated with toxic perfectionism. And so I feel like this might be a new concept that I apply to my toolkit. Just add it, something to reflect on. Just do your best
Yeah.
today and really do your best. Like don't bullshit yourself and say,
Have you
"Well, I
ever
did my best today." You really ain't do
have
nothing.
you ever watched Young Famous African?
No, Tosh. I don't watch
Oh,
those kind
girl,
of
it's so
shows.
good. But Diamond Platinums, he's like one of the little rappers that's on there, and he always says this little phrase that everybody makes fun of, but he's like, I'm just doing my level best. I'm doing my level best. And I just, that's the first thing I thought about when you started saying that, because like that's pretty much what he was saying. Like, like I'm doing the best that I can do where I am right now. You know what I'm saying? Like at this level, this is the best that I am. And he says it in regards to a lot of things. Like that's not like his excuse for one particular thing. It's like he just says it like, he's telling people like that's where he is as a parent, that's where he is as a partner, like that's just kind of where he is, and all this other stuff. And that's what made me think of that, because it's like he's always just saying he's just trying to do his best.
That's fair. And he seems like a well evolved young man.
He's not,
Oh,
but
okay. Never mind.
he's not. Trust
Never
me,
mind
it's
then.
such a it's such a ghetto show. Like it's a good ghetto show though. I would watch that over the Love and Hip Hops and all that anymore.
So I feel like I started off watching Love and Hip Hop. But I enjoyed Love and Hip Hop when it was the first season in New York.
Yes,
With Chrissy and Jim Jones and the
yes,
whole original
Olivia and
cast.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yes,
I watched it then, and like I caught up on it like a few more seasons after that. I ain't gonna lie. But it's hard for me to keep up with television because I'm I feel like I'm always doing something. And when I get home, I'll be like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna like read a book or lay down.
yeah, and that's how I feel about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like I love Real Housewives. Like in them early days, before Nene got remarried to Greg. Like back in the day.
Dang.
Yeah, because you know
They got remarried?
her and Greg were married when she first went on the show. They got
I didn't know
divorced,
that.
and then she had a whole marriage special, like a spinoff of her and Greg getting married again. Because everybody kept saying, she kept saying, "You want to be my bridemaid? You want to be my bridemaid?"
Oh,
And girl, that it
man.
was so funny. But yeah, she had like 5 or 6 episodes, girl, on Bravo of her show of Greg and Lee something. I forgot. Greg and Nene do something. I forgot what it was, but they were supposed to be getting remarried. They got remarried. And
Wow.
then, yeah, it was just crazy. But back in that era, when Kim Zolciak was on there, before she got married to Corey Bierman, when she was with Big Papa, like those. That's the
I
era
don't know
of
none of
like.
them.
Now I haven't watched Real Housewives in quite a few seasons of Atlanta, at least, in quite a few seasons, because once they started like just putting random cast members in there, it became too much. But when they used to have the same cast members for 3 or 4 seasons, and they really, like you could tell that these weren't scripted relationships, like, because essentially all these reality shows they do now is cast these people, they tell them who they're gonna be on the show with, and they make them forge these fake relationships. Like, these people don't be hanging out with each other in real life,
I
outside
can
of
see
these
that.
shows and stuff.
It seems very scripted.
Yeah, it's like extremely scripted. But back then, they were all actual friends. Like, somebody came to Nene with the idea of doing Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she was the one who single handedly picked out, well, I know this person who's married to this person, which was Sheree and Bob Whitfield, which was Kim, all these people. She's like, I'm friends with this white girl, which was Kim. She brought Deshaun Snow on. It was like so many people that she had regular, like real life, everyday relationships with. So that's why those episodes were more genuine to me. And those cast, like those seasons with those cast members, because they were actually friends. But it was like, I think that was still so new and revolutionary at the time that I knew it wasn't gonna last, because Deshaun, her husband were like really into, like heavily into the church, and I think he was like a pastor and something, or she was trying to become first lady. It was like a lot going on, and he didn't want to be on there. Lisa Wu was on there, and come to find out, she was the one who ended up having kids. She's Keith Sweat's ex, and he didn't want their kids to be on the show. So like, she was always talking about her kids and her ex, but because of the contract that he made her sign to go on that show, she couldn't mention his name, and she couldn't have their kids on the show. So her, like, she just had to keep like grabbing at other storylines over the years until she got off. But yeah, it was though, so it was so new that so many people were scared of its impact and what it was doing, which rightfully so. They were like, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no telling how that could have went if they
How the
would have,
storylines and everything
yeah, if
could
that would have
evolve.
been the issue. Yeah, if they would have just stayed or whatever. So
Well, shout out to the people who got in and got their bag and got on up
got
out of
out,
there,
yeah.
And to the people who are still on there, I don't feel like, I mean, to each his own,
Yeah.
And for people that watch it, it's entertainment, to some degree. My attention span be like, all right,
Well, see, the only
think
time I
I'm
really
good.
watch them too now, like, or any show really, is if I just binge it. Like, I have to sit back and watch 2 or 3 episodes at a time when I'm not doing nothing. Like, if not, I can't just keep up with watching stuff when it airs. I just let everything record and go back and watch it whenever I feel like it.
Well, speaking of watching stuff, did you have something for Mind, Body, and Balance before I jump into soundtrack?
Nope, I did not.
Because I got a question for you.
What's up?
What is give me one iconic soundtrack.
Oh, Waiting to Exhale soundtrack.
Oh, okay, yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's a hands down. That's a no brainer.
Absolutely.
Um,
So I don't
Well,
I
and I would
haven't
say, okay, so I'll say that, but I'll take it a step further. And I don't really think anybody that listens to our show would understand where I'm going to go with this. But another soundtrack that kind of really did its thing. Well, see, back then soundtracks were different because one artist would carry a soundtrack. But the soundtrack that goes along with Claudine, Gladys Knight and the Pips,
yeah.
the way they put that together, was
I
like none
heard a
other.
song from that album that I love, and I can't think of the name of it. I heard a song from that soundtrack. I'm gonna revisit that and listen to that soundtrack because I love a good. I just
Do I
love
have it? I'm looking
a
over
good
here. I'm like, I
soundtrack.
wonder, do I have it? I don't have it on vinyl, but I do have Sparkle soundtrack on vinyl because Sparkle and Purple Rain are actually my top two, my favorite movies. And for both of those to be what I consider low rate musicals, because I don't like musicals. I don't like all that shucking and jiving and singing and blah, blah, blah. I don't like it. But Purple Rain and Sparkle to me are musicals because they were heavily centered around
Music.
particular songs and music. But the Sparkle soundtrack and Purple Rain obviously are there. But when you talking about just standalone soundtracks that did not go with the movie, I mean, I'm not even gonna say didn't go with the movie, but Waiting to Exhale is the top one. I can't think of any other soundtrack in our time that encompass so many different artists on so many different levels. Like you had newcomers, you had groups, it was an all female sang soundtrack. Mind you, Babyface wrote most of it, but these songs were top tier. The performances were top tier. Everybody thought that movie was like a We Hate Men type movie, but it really wasn't. It was just grown women going through grown women stuff. Like now
Yeah,
that I'm of a certain age, it's like, oh, this is just
it's real
everyday
life.
struggles. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But that movie was so ahead of its time, and so was that soundtrack, because that soundtrack wasn't just I'm mad, not gonna cry. It wasn't just, Whitney Houston, why does it hurt so bad? It wasn't just sad love songs about these women having sad lives. You had Way You by Shantae Moore. These songs made you feel, to this day, I put that on, open my sunroof, and I'm riding. Like,
I love that song.
that song, you had Kissing You by Faith Evans. You had all these songs that put you through all the real emotions of being in love with a man. And that's essentially what all of those
Let It
women,
Flow is on there too, ain't it? By
yep,
Tony
all of those
Braxton.
women had to do. These were stories of them and men, either their issues keeping relationships, you know what I'm saying, losing relationships, being in relationships that just weren't serving them. It was so many different layers to that movie, and the soundtrack brought it all together. I don't see another soundtrack. I don't remember another one
I
being
got
that
one.
good.
I got one.
What?
That's a good runner up for that one. I can't even say that it's a runner up. Like I feel like they could go neck and neck. Honestly, Love Jones. The Love Jones soundtrack is pretty damn good.
It got good songs on it, but that's not one that I would just put on.
I
If I'm
would.
not going to choose Waiting to Exhale, my second one would be the Soul Food soundtrack.
I was thinking about the Soulful soundtrack.
The Soul Food soundtrack.
I feel like
it was a lot. But I will say it was a lot of, it was a lot of upbeat songs on there and like more hip hop songs, which I'm not saying I didn't like. I do enjoy the songs, but if I'm going to listen to a soundtrack and just put something on, it's going to be that Waiting to Exhale one.
So another soundtrack that I just recently heard about, someone told me, like, they asked me, have you listened to this soundtrack? And I'm like, no, I haven't. I love the movie, love the film, The Photograph with Issa Rae and Lakeith Stanfield.
I watched the movie, but I never paid attention to the, what you call that,
The music.
the music. And really, because I'm going to be honest, I only watched the movie. I really only watched the movie, which is why I watch a lot of Issa's stuff, is because Elan Noel, the actor, it's funny to even like refer to him as that, but Elan, we went to high school together. We went to middle school and high school together. So I watch a lot of those films that Issa Rae writes that he's in strictly just to like support him. So like I might have seen The Photograph once, maybe twice.
Oh, you went to school with him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, we went to middle school and high school together. So
He fine.
yeah, he looked just like that when we was growing up though. Like
Wow, wow.
he's always been like super cool. Like he's like everybody's like brother. Like you know what I'm saying? He's just been like that forever. But
Wouldn't have been mine.
so so I watch those movies for him, but I'm not really.
You want to be married today or tomorrow?
I ain't really a Issa Rae fan like that. Like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I
I
liked
love Issa.
Insecure, but a lot of stuff that she's in outside of Insecure, it just never really landed with for me.
So I got hip to Issa Rae when I was in high school. I used to watch Awkward Black Girl, the series on YouTube. And
Okay.
so when Insecure became a thing and they said that they were getting, a show on HBO, I was ecstatic about that. So I love Issa. I love being able to watch people's career take off like that. And she seems like a cool person. Of course, we don't know any celebrities
Yeah.
in real life, but she seems pretty genuine. And I like that she has several different ventures and investments. Like she has a cafe in Cali. She has a restaurant that she's invested in on her own prosecco. Like that's just so bossy to me, and I love that.
Yeah, I bought a bottle of her Prosecco.
You didn't like it?
Well, I don't prefer whites at all. So it was literally I bought it when I was in Cali. So I kind of bought it and like I had it like delivered from like DoorDash or something with some other stuff that I ordered just because we were in the house like playing games. So it was more about just like buying some wine and was kind of like, oh, let me just buy this,
Yeah.
to support just to have. But it wasn't something that I would personally go back and buy. But once again, I don't. If I'm buying myself wine, I'm not going to buy whites. I very
So
rarely will buy bubblies, but I'm not going to buy. If I do buy bubbles, I'm just going to buy straight champagne. I'm not going to really go for a Prosecco.
so if you've never had Issa Rae's prosecco, it is a citrus. I would say it's citrus forward. I taste citrus when I taste it. I like the prosecco. It's nice. It's crisp. It's not too sweet. I mean, most proseccos are not, sweet, but it's just enough. I like to splash it with a little Chambord, raspberry liqueur, just a little bit, and that really takes it up a notch for me. But yeah, I was thinking of soundtracks when I was thinking about this. I don't know why this popped in my head, but I know why, because it was related to movies. But like, what's a movie that like scared the fuck out of you, like as a kid?
New Jack City. And still do as an adult.
Like that's funny. Like something that just scares you to where you just like, yeah, no, I don't need to watch that again.
Yeah. That movie, and it's a movie that used to come on BT. And it's weird because one of my favorite actors, like one of my, like, what do they say? What is that phrase that people be saying? Like, don't ask me or my whatever it is. Like, that's, for me, that's Don Cheadle. Like, my Hear Me Out. Like, I love Don Cheadle. Absolutely love him. Like, love him. Like, I don't know why I think that little mini man is sexy, but I love him. And always
short?
have. I mean, he's definitely giving short. Like, I ain't never seen him in person, but he don't look tall. He does not present to be a tall man at all.
Let's see how tall he is.
And so
I never thought like to Google that. How tall is Don Cheadle?
yeah, I think he's fairly short. But I say all that to say,
Oh, you were right.
what did it say?
He's 5'8".
Yeah, he's definitely short.
Wow. I thought he was tall.
And so I love him, but he was in this movie that used to come on like BT at night, and I think it's called The Story of Earl the Goat T Manigault, and it was about this basketball player who like I think he ended up having like a drug overdose or something like that. But Don Cheadle played him in the movie. It was the movie is called Rebound, and girl, when I tell you, it used to scare me. Like, it's something about like, I don't know. It's New Jack City was that movie, and Rebound. They used to come on at night, and when I tell you, it used to scare me. Like, it used to scare me. I don't know why.
You know what movie scared me?
What?
And I don't even like. I don't really know why to this day. Um, The Last King of Scotland.
Never even seen it in my life.
You never seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
I don't know why that movie like scared me. I think it was like the thought of like this was based on a true story, and it was a movie with Forrest Whitaker in it, and then this guy. It was this doctor that he had hired. The doctor became like his confidant. He was doing all kind of crimes. Not the doctor, but the Forrest Whitaker was like a dictator essentially, and
That's
he was doing all
crazy.
these crimes, and like it was a wild movie, and like he had a hell of a time trying to get out of that country.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
So that used to scare me. And I don't think like I would not watch that. Like if it was on TV, like I'll hurry up and scroll past it. Like, oh my god, I don't want to watch that again. Like it was so scary. It was just like, yeah,
That's
it,
such a
it was a
random,
lot.
like,
It is random because it's like it's not a scary movie. Like I don't know
and that's
what.
crazy because you just asked me, like, you've never seen The Last King of Scotland. Like, it's Rush Hour or something. Like, who
Well, because
watches
it was
that?
a pretty. Well, it's classified as a thriller. Okay, so maybe this, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I definitely felt the thrill. That makes sense. And then like the way that it's shot too, like that makes sense. So that's my. I have did you have something you wanted to talk about for sound check?
I
I
do.
feel like I'm just kind of like
Last week,
jumping
well,
back and forth.
just quickly, last week I went to the Lil Russell concert.
Oh,
For
yes,
those
you
of
sure
you that are
did.
not aware, this is an official Lil Russell Stan account. If you follow me on social media, because I absolutely love him.
I know somebody that had to complain about the concert.
Well, a lot of people had complaints about the concert, and we're not going to have any
Slander.
slander towards Russell over here because I get it, okay? But he is trying to make amends for the situation. I don't know how that's really gonna work out, but I'm just gonna be positive. But I know that I would say it was a great experience. So just to be honest, I'm just gonna go ahead and, like, I can swiftly recount this whole situation because of how swift it happened. So, like, we bought these tickets in January. I'll say that. Like, I love Lil Russell so much that the first day that they announced the concert, I literally bought the tickets right then because they had like meet and greet tickets, all this stuff. Well, up until like the day before, nobody knew how it was supposed to go down because I'm not gonna say where the concert was held because I don't want to be messy, but I'm just gonna say at this place, they didn't have anything on like the website about it or anything. It just said from 5 to 8. So I wasn't aware because with the meet and greet tickets, I was like an early entry, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't aware that, of what time the meet and greet was supposed to start because did that just mean early entry? The lawyer in me is like, does that mean early entry and we're going to meet and greet him after the show?
Right.
Does that, like, how does that go? Nobody knew. Well, the day before they emailed and was like, hey, the doors open for y'all at 4 o'clock. Meet and greet starts from 4 to 5. The show is supposed to start at 6. The doors are going to open at 5 for regular general admission guests. Well, we get there at 4:09, and he's giving a full-on private performance for the show for the people who got meet and greet tickets. But it was weird because it was like if we got here at 4:09, he's already performing. Like, what did he already perform? Like. It was kind
Right.
of crazy, but it was cool because he was very personable. Like, he literally walked up to me and was like, "What do you want me to rap?" I told him what I wanted him to hear, so it was cool. I was having a good time. After that, like, he took pictures with people. Um, it was maybe around like 4:30. That portion was over. So from that time till about 5, people were standing outside, like, congregating, doing whatever, having drinks, whatnot. And then he personally took his time to come over to each individual person and take a picture, which I appreciated, because he said the reason why he took group pictures inside is he was like, he it's still overwhelming for him to like take all these pictures all the time, but he came outside and he took pictures with everybody, like whatever. Well, we went back in the venue probably around 5:30 ish, because he had a DJ up there. The DJ was really good. He had a DJ up there, and we were like, well, let's go ahead and get us some good standing room only. So we was like, let's get us some good seats in the front, or some areas in the front, because the show's gonna start soon. Mm-hmm. Well, 5:45, the DJ starts playing his song, and he just starts rapping. Show just starts. So I text some other people that we were supposed to be meeting up there, and I'm like, hey, y'all, where y'all at? Because the show was going on. And they like, we outside the taco truck. And I'm like, well, y'all better talk y'all ass back in here, because, huh?
Yeah, that's the complaint that I heard, that the show, the start time and the time that they thought the show was going to begin, and then also taking into account that most people have openers.
Yeah.
So he's like they're like, well, they were trying to get off work, and
yeah, because it was on a random Thursday.
Yeah,
and like by the time 6:30 came, the show was over.
Yeah,
like over.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and
yeah,
that's crazy to think about. I would be very upset.
Yeah, people were really upset. And so I didn't feel bad at that point, to be completely honest, because I feel like the meet and greet saved me. If I wouldn't have signed up for that, I probably would have missed a lot of it, or let alone the whole concert, and I would have been upset about that. But that's where half of me, I be feeling like, I'm a real nigga, but I really am a lawyer in real life. You know what I'm saying? Because I be thinking the event does say from this to this. You know what I'm saying? And I know we be caught up in the shows don't never start on time and thinking people always got an opener. But he told us in the middle of the concert, he ain't never flown. I mean, he's like, he ain't never done a show this far from the Bay before. He was like, I'm coming to Detroit. He's like, the time zones is throwing me off. He's like, I got to go to Toronto after this. I'm going to Chicago after this. He was like, I'm making my way back to the Bay. He was like, but I haven't gone this far. This is a lot for me. He was like, the time is throwing him off. But then too, when you think about what people paid for tickets, versus what he probably required, for his price or whatnot, I just don't think the management of it was proper. I'm gonna say that, so I don't be messy. I feel like it could have been done a little bit better, because we've personally been to shows that gave more than that, and I feel like for somebody that has 40 albums, we could have gotten a much more of a show.
He has 40 albums.
He's independent. He drops EPs like nobody's business, and every last one of them is 8 to 10 tracks, always dropping music. So yes, I feel like there was so much you know what I'm saying, there was so many chances for things to be a lot different. I instantly, I be trying to come up with stuff, because I just think like that, but I'm like, dang, I wonder if he gonna have Sada Baby come. He had the whole Test Your Nuts freestyle session at the Pergola a few years ago with Sada Baby, and you was right here in the city, why you ain't pull up like that? Even stuff like that could have enhanced the experience. Now, I'm not gonna say, once again, it was a bad experience. I love Lil Russell, so I'm not even gonna go there and say it wasn't a good show, because he did give his all in the show, but I can tell that he's still finding his way and getting his footing with this whole recording, because with not the whole recording, but the whole touring and the whole show thing, because everybody's like, well, he performed all the time at the Pergola. People don't realize that's really in his parents' backyard. Yeah. So you ain't really doing no show. You at the crib. Right. You just got niggas pulling up, and you just having a good time outside.
And I think that we have to leave space for the artists that are navigating this process and being transparent about it too. Yeah. But understanding that this is the first, like he said, he hasn't been this far. And so there, always kinks that need to be worked out, especially when you're independent. Like, you don't have all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
You may not have a, team behind you that's handling logistics and all the things. A lot of the times you're wearing many of the hats.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty impressive for him to be able to take his music and take it that far, and even, sell out a show here.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty impressive. But I don't like to hear about mismanagement of things, or like when time frames don't add up, or especially like dealing with artists. I don't like to hear about that. But I feel like this is a different case because I understand, like, I have a better understanding of his platform and how he's operating as an independent artist, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like,
so
it was a really good show, and like I said, he gave the people what the people
we gotta
that
take that into account.
Yeah, that had the expectation. Like, I feel like he did really well, as far as interacting, with people, which is why I felt like I got value, in being there. I'll say that.
For sure. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Speaking of value, I have a question, and I know you probably don't know the answer to this, but if people are listening, they should write in. It's just something that's been on my mind for a while. But I'm just trying to figure out, like, so how do people become like polyamorous? Like, how do they just...
I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah, I know you don't. If you did, we cut the show. Like, the recording. Done. The man, yes, I'm done. I'm done. Cut the tape.
For a long time, I was saying that, and I still say it here and there when I'm overwhelmed. I'm done. Cut the show. Take me off.
He was so mad.
I don't want it. Like, that's real. That's very real.
But I just really want to know there. Because it's with the, it's so much of this whole talk, this ethical non-monogamy, and people, and I'm poly, I'm doing this. Like, it's taking over. Once again, it's taking over the community like crack in the 80s. It's just spreading. And I just want to know, how do people have these conversations? Like, do you, like, find 2 or 3 different people that you like and be like, all right, I'm gonna sit y'all down and we about to have a press conference, and then if they cool with it, we down? Like, how do we navigate this? Like, these are questions that I have answers. I need answers to, crazy. But I really don't want to know the answers to them, because I'm gonna have a lot of follow-up questions after that.
So it's interesting that you bring this up, because I feel like one of my good friends would be a great guest.
And I thought
to
about
talk
her
about this, because
when I thought about this.
She's ethical, non-monogamous, and I guess technically she is poly. I would have to confirm with her. But she's in the community, and she understands how all of this happens. And
so do they hang out in a special place, like how people, like in the LGBTQ plus IA, I don't know, I got the letters mixed up, but y'all know where I'm going with this. They go to certain clubs. They have physical spaces that they go. So you telling me it's like a whole community? Like, how do you
become a part of the community?
Yeah, like, how do you, what? I'm not saying I'm about to put an application. I'm just saying.
I feel like there are social, based off of what
because
I know.
I'm not gonna be disrespectful and put them in the same category with swingers, because that's a totally different lifestyle. There are swingers clubs. Back to my point, if you want to hang out with people that ride a motorcycle, there's motorcycle clubs. If you and your husband like to share body parts with other folks, y'all can go to swingers clubs. Like, it's so many things that have a certain space. And that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you even become of this space where it's like, I know that these people are okay with us doing whatever? Because I don't know what.
So, the advancement of technology has presented apps where people can be a bit more transparent about what they're looking for, what they're into, what they desire. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I believe, based off of what I know and what I've been told, there are social gatherings that take place where people can meet and greet and, network in that way and become a part of the community. I feel that a lot of people are brought into lifestyle by meeting someone who they are interested in that's already in the mix, and they might not necessarily have any knowledge of that. They might not even be with it initially, and eventually they become with it, whether they feel like they love this person so much so they have to be with it because that person
And
is
see,
not
that's what's
willing
so
to
crazy to me.
conform,
Cause like, nah, I'm straight.
or if they find out that, or they realize that they actually do enjoy that type of structure, relationship structure. That's one part of it. The other part is, or the other side of it, I think, or of how people get into it is possibly having bad experiences in monogamous relationships and
I can see
deciding
that.
that they want to try something different to see if it works for them. Sometimes I think that it's a thing that is almost dormant in, in people, where they may have always wanted to try something like that, or have a different type of relationship structure that is non-monogamous, but society doesn't necessarily make us feel safe in those choices, or even talking about that type of stuff, like, because we live in a society that is more so framed around monogamous relationships, even though historically and through evolution, apparently monogamy is more of a newer concept.
People be saying that,
Allegedly.
but let me tell you something. What's also new are these hands. And if you trying to be my man and you ain't monogamous, you can catch these. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Cause nah, I don't care how new it is. It's the concept we working on, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah,
Yeah.
no. Like,
See,
that's
what's also
crazy.
new is these bad boys. That is crazy. Yeah, I feel like we should invite my friend on. I'm gonna see how she's feeling, you know, when we decide to get to that point in the pod.
And see, that's a problem too. Like, and maybe I'm about to do too much as usual, but I'm not about to like everybody and their mama that be hollering at they poly. Like, I be talking to men or like just meeting guys, or I have met men, like, just whatever, or you see them talking about it online, and it's like, you ain't even fine enough for all that.
So
Like,
here, okay, so
it be the
look,
ones who be like looking halfway weird. They be talking about they want two women. Like, you don't even have enough fine for two women.
all right, so look, I feel like we hit on this a little bit in the previous episode where we talked about non-traditional relationships. I
Yeah.
feel like the other half of this is that some people, I've seen it to be more aligned with men. They want to have their cake and eat it too. And so they feel like
Yeah.
being poly is the way to do that. And so they lean into that relationship structure because it's a way for them to have as many partners as they want, or essentially be in a non-traditional relationship structure. And so when you get into that type of reasoning, there's a lot that goes on, or into that, I feel like.
Well, it's funny because I watched that show Seeking Sister Wives or whatever it was on TLC like one day because I ain't had nothing to do, and like a few of them episodes in, like, I totally see why. Like you said, like, I'm just looking at these men and I'm like, I wouldn't be your one woman, let alone with you, and you want somebody else to be in a relationship with us too. Like, sir, like, you're crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's this one. It was like a black dude on there. He ain't had. And he was proud to say he ain't had no job or nothing. He had 3 white women, and they was working, having his babies and everything, and he was at home.
All
And
right,
I'm talking
so
about at home. And when I say at
so
home,
boom.
I don't mean Boo was at home watching them kids either, baby. Them kids was going to school and they was at home watching them kids. He was in the room playing video games.
Wow.
And he looked like
Crazy.
a milk dud.
So here's the other side. Here's the other thing. I think some people are just simply manipulated into that culture.
Because that's crazy.
Being however it becomes so. You know, you meet somebody and they have a specific idea in mind of how they want to control the narrative, and they find people that are impressionable enough to go along with it. And that's a messed up situation, because you might find that these women, like, are you really content with the way that things are going, or do you feel like you have to be?
Y'all are crazy. Like,
blink if you not okay. Like, what?
They had a whole, like, it was two couples on there that I guess they like fully swapped, but they were living together and whatnot, and they were mad because one of the girls got pregnant, and he was like, he didn't want to find out if he was a dad, and he didn't want the other guy to know either, because they felt like it was going to be tension if they knew, if one of them knew that the baby was, you know, somebody's and not the other person's.
What?
Like, so they wanted the girl, like, they were both apparently doing what it takes to get the girl pregnant. The girl got pregnant, or the wife, or whatever you want to call her. She got pregnant. One of the wives got pregnant, but they didn't want to find out who the true biological father was.
That sounds very stupid.
Because in their mind, it was, we're a family anyway. Why does it matter?
It definitely matters.
Well, one of them found out on mistake. And
how do you find out a mistake?
Because the doctor called him, like, while she was pregnant. I'm
gonna have to tune into this, because
they had some kind of like questions. She had like a regular checkup or something, and I don't know if they found out the baby's blood type or whatever it was, but they kind of it put two and two together, and they automatically knew that one of them was a dad over the other, and it caused a big fight in their house. Like, it was a whole ordeal, because they was like, we think he did it on purpose because he messy. Like, oh yeah, it was a whole ordeal. And they had already had like 3 or 4 other children.
You know, Tash, may that type of love
never find me.
Ever. And I mean ever.
Ever. Me. Listen.
Please.
And I was just telling somebody today, like, you can't help what you love. You can't help what you like. Because I was talking to a friend, I was like, you just, as a woman, you tend to, especially when you're a woman that knows yourself and you're aware, you tend to like a certain kind of man. And I was like, I just do. Like, I can't help what I like. And I was like, you know, it's just something about coming into contact with that kind of person that'll make you kind of like crazy. Like, once you have set for yourself this idea of the kind of person you want, and you meet somebody that exemplifies all of those things, it's gonna make you somebody you ain't. Like, it's gonna change. It's weird, because and people always joke, and they like, Capricorn women, they have to have the right person to break them down, and it's usually it has to be the right person. And so it was so funny, because I was saying this, and and my friend kept saying, he was like, why? Like, he was like, you crazy. He was like, you just need to do X, Y, Z. And I was like, Joel, like, just listen to me. Like, listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I'm talking to you, and I'm trying to tell you this. And then 30 minutes later, he starts saying the same thing about somebody else. He like, everybody say I was crazy for dealing with this person. Yeah, that was the best time of my life. I was like, see? See what I mean? Like, when you like a certain type of somebody, it's like you'll do some crazy stuff. But I don't think I'm gonna ever like nobody enough to let them be with me and somebody else, and I'm paying all their bills. Now, I ain't never gonna like nobody that much. But when I say, like,
but apparently there's people out here that do.
Yeah, but that's so crazy to me. That's why I'm like, how do you do that? Like, and I know it's not the same, but I think of things in extremes. And the first thing that I be thinking about when I think about something like that is like how they say pimps get with prostitutes and they like turn them out. Like, I feel like you meet somebody and they be like, oh, I'm ethically non-monogamous. I believe in polyamory. And you like, oh, no, I don't. And then they just keep bringing you around. And next thing they be like, oh, I'm going to introduce you to my friend. And it be their other wife. And then they want y'all to just turn you out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
assimilation and manipulation.
Like, come on. Because that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't just sit nobody down and be like, and then the thing about it, I think it is so much patriarchy rooted in it. And I think that bothers me, because more than likely it's a man that's coming to a woman saying, this is what I want for us. Like, I don't care how much a man love me. I don't think the kind of men that I like ain't never gonna be okay with me coming up to them saying, "Hey, I like you, and I also like this person. Can I be with both of y'all?"
No.
Cause I don't even. That's the crazy part. I don't even like men that would even be okay with me thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? I like my man with a little possessive, with a little girl. I don't even want nobody to look at you because you mine. So I really don't think that I'm just gonna ever be like, yeah, I like you, and you know me and you been together because I'm in love with you. So let's just do that. Like who like that? That'll never fly. And it's like it's so crazy because men are doing it to women in like alarming rates right now. But women don't have that option to be like, yeah, I want you and him.
Technically, we do, but I feel like it takes a certain type of man
And
to,
like I said, those ain't the ones we
and
want.
it's right. It takes a certain type of woman to be in that position, and it takes a certain type of woman to deal with a man who wants to be controlling in that way.
Yeah, because
I
that's
do want to. Oh, sorry, what were you about to
no.
say?
I was just about to say that's just crazy. I
It's
just
very
want to know
wild.
how. Like somebody gonna have to give me a step by step.
So we do have a question for counsel and confessions, but before we jump into that, I do want to just slide on through the delicious dive. That's always a tongue twister for me. Like why? I do want to slide over to the delicious dive and talk about different ways to use tomatoes because I have been growing an abundance of them, different kinds of them too. I'm enjoying it. But the other day I was like, I gotta do something with these tomatoes. So I found this recipe on Instagram, which I love to surf the internet for recipes. And the lady took some tomatoes and roasted them and made a burrata dip. And I think you would really enjoy. Well, you don't like tomatoes like
I was
that,
about to
so
say, do you
never
think I'm
mind.
gonna enjoy what?
But I don't
Because
I don't know because so I made it. I took the tomatoes and roasted them in a cast iron with olive oil and some fresh parsley and just little salt and pepper seasonings. Roasted those down. Took the burrata, mixed it in there, and added some mozzarella cheese. And I put it back in the oven for like another 15 minutes just to get it a little bit more cheesy and melt it down, and it was really really good. And I got some crostinis and toasted those and dipped my little bread slices in the dip. And I said this is a great way to repurpose, not repurpose, but like to use my tomatoes because I have so many of them. Of course, the other traditional route is just making a good salsa,
yeah,
and that's probably the most common way I feel like people use their tomatoes from their garden is to make salsa or
tomato
salads.
sauce,
Yeah, but I
spaghetti
didn't think to
sauce.
like roast them and make a dip out of it, and I really enjoyed it. So the next time I make it, I would love for you to try it and let me know what you think. I thought it was delicious,
I
and
don't think I can promise you that.
you can try a little
Mm-mm.
piece of it.
I don't do tomatoes in no form
You don't like tomatoes at all.
unless it's tomato juice or fried green tomato. Absolutely not. I
Well,
don't even like when people make me spaghetti sauce
oh, fried green
with
tomatoes are so
chunky
good.
like pieces of tomato in it. I pick it out. Like I don't mess around with no tomatoes.
That's so sad.
Mm-mm.
Well, I ain't gonna
I'm the
force it on
same way
you.
about onions too. I cannot. I will send some food back in a heartbeat. I'm like, didn't I tell you to take these onions out? Yes, I'm sorry. Just take it back. I don't even want it now. Like I can't. Mm-mm.
Well, with that being said, don't send us any tomatoes or onions, but if you like to send us a gift for the pod, we would love that in some capacity. This is my way of manifesting for the future. And jumping into the sanctuary scoop, if you're not already following us, please follow us on all platforms. We are at the Soulful Stir. We, of course, had to take a little break, like we said in the beginning, but I feel like we're pretty consistent with posting content, getting it up on TikTok, on Instagram, and we're on Facebook. We have a group on Facebook. We're slowly, getting around to posting more and more on there. So follow us there too. Again, like I said in the past couple episodes, I am accepting clients right now for doula work. So if you are interested or you had a friend, family member that is looking for a more comprehensive care experience as a pregnant person, please send them my way. I'm happy to answer any questions and work with them one-on-one. Tash, you have anything for the people?
No.
Dang. Guess I said everything. Follow us on YouTube, please, at the Soulful Stir, and comment, subscribe, you know, tap in with us on all platforms. I do want to jump into counseling confession. Somebody told me that they've been waiting a few weeks for our counseling confession segment, and
Well, y'all can't say y'all waiting on it and y'all don't be writing in. I mean, y'all got to write in. Tell your people to tell their people to tell their people. Listen.
points are being
As
made.
much grimy stuff be going on in this world, okay, and I know it be going on because that's all I do is deal with grimy lawyers all the time. And if they grimy, I know your cousin Shaniqua and them that work down at the Foreman Mills grimy. Okay, so somebody got some stories. Tell somebody to write in and tell us something. If y'all got questions, ask us for advice. That's the whole point of counseling confessions. If y'all want to hear the confessions, y'all got to give us the confessions. And I ain't talking about Usher Raymond's, okay? We need confessions. We need questions, okay?
Well, someone wrote in a question today.
Okay, what they talking about?
And the question says, if you sleep with a friend on a girl's trip as a married woman, is that considered cheating?
Oh. Wow. Okay, so
I was not expecting it.
So I don't know, but the first thing I thought about, which is so crazy because our episodes always come full circle, was that season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I was watching All the Queen's Men the other day. You know, it's back on. And I thought about the episode where Candy took Bolo and them down to their little girls trip. And when people went to sleep, he had supposedly done some things with a few of them. And they said that they was doing it with him together. Nobody ever said who it was, but it was like suspected, like Portia, Phaedra, like I think Kenya was supposed to be in there. Like it was a whole ordeal.
Wow.
Because they talked about it, that whole reunion. And I think it ended up spanning to the next season. Because Candy was, you know, the resident freak on the show. So she had to take her little male strippers to, with her. And that's how that happened. That made me think about that because it was always speculated that some of them, like, you know, did something together or not. And I was just like, wow, that's just, you know, I don't know. The real me, the black and white me is going to say, yeah. Like, why is it not cheating? Because it is. But then the other side of me is like, you know,
Shit be happening.
You only live once. You know what I'm saying? Like, how, you know, shit. You can't, you know, who am I to tell you how to manage what you got? You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to figure out how to manage my own. If you want to go on a trip and you want to do what you want to do, like, you know, I think we talked about it on the episode before. Like, one of the places I aspire to go at some point in my life is to hedonism. Like, it's just something that I wanted to experience, just to go. Like, it don't necessarily mean that I have intentions set for things to go one way or the other. But once again, like, life is short. And I've always been one of those people that have kind of had this attitude of, like, I'll try anything once. Like, not saying anything, but just, like, I'm not going to completely close myself off to things because I know that there are things that I've done and experienced in my 30 plus years of living that in my, you know, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old mind would have never imagined. Like, you know what I'm saying? It would have been like, wow, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just, and I don't necessarily mean in a physical sense. I mean, just even crazy stuff, like just random stuff that I've done. Like, I would have never foreseen that for myself. So I always say that you never know where you are in your life where you might want to experience something different.
So I feel like it depends on what type of, what your situation is looking like, right? What is the understanding between you and your partner? If you have an open line of communication, your partner doesn't feel some type of way about that. These are things that you discuss with your partner before. I feel like beforehand you figure out and test the temperature and say like, well, what if this happened, or like, how would you feel
For
about this
sure. Like, I feel like it
situation?
has to be some type of understanding.
Yeah. And if they say it is classified as cheating, then it is cheating. And if they say no, then it's not. It just depends on the situation and the people who are
But I'm going to
involved.
assume that whoever this person is has not had that conversation. So, like, with that aside, like, that's my thought. Is like, well, how do you even approach this? Because it's like, do you know what I'm saying? Do you just come home and be like, hey, I did it? Do you keep it a secret? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, because what if it comes out later and it's one of those things where you done held onto this, like, this guilt, and when it does come out later, he or she is like, oh, well, you could have been said that. Why you ain't say nothing? Or is it one of those things where you feel like if you do bring this up, you feel like you're going to open a door with your partner that you don't want to? Because I think it's funny that it's even going in this direction, because I remember seeing a post on, I think, Facebook a few months ago, essentially where the random person was like, guys that have good bedroom skills are usually the less likely for their partner to be willing to have an open experience with them, because they like, most people don't want to share that. Like, you know what I'm saying? They like, and this, it was a guy saying it, and I guess he was trying to like pretty much put other guys on game. He like, if your woman is willing to have an open experience with you, she don't really feel too highly about what you give her, because she doesn't want to keep it to herself. And I thought about that, and I was like, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like, because like, you know what I'm saying? So I think at the same time, our partners, whether they're men or women on the opposite side, should be able to feel that way too. Like, so once again, it's like, do I feel like it's cheating? Yeah. But do I also feel like if y'all are okay with it, y'all should be okay with it? Like, if, like you said, if that's something that y'all talk about or have had a conversation about and said if it happened, you know what I'm saying? Because I look at it like, with the exception of being like sloppy drunk out of your mind, stuff like that don't just randomly happen. Like, there had to be some kind of energy exchange prior to, for somebody to even think that that was okay to cross that line. You see what I'm saying? And it was
Yeah.
probably the feeling of, I feel safe to cross it because we're on this trip. You know what I'm saying? And that's my excuse. I couldn't just approach you at home on a regular night that we all hanging out at the damn TJ Maxx and be like, what you doing when we leave here? You know what I'm saying? Like, couldn't do that.
Not hanging out at TJ
Like, you know, just
Maxx.
like random girl
So
stuff.
what
You
you
couldn't
doing
just
when you leave here?
bring it up. Yeah. So
Yeah.
because of that, it's one of those things where I just feel like y'all had to have some conversations about that. You know what I'm saying? Beforehand, or maybe, or felt some type of way. So did you ever like have that conversation with your partner that you might,
Test the waters on a girl trip.
want to get you some vacation poontang while you gone? Like, I don't know. Like, that's, I don't know. Like,
That was such an
everybody
interesting question.
everybody has different, and once again, I think too, that's the difference too. When I was younger, I probably would have been like judging the whole thing, but now I'm older, and I just feel like, hey, people gonna do what they gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell nobody how to what you call that, how to handle their relationship. You know what I'm saying? How to operate within their relationship, within whatever rules and regulations they set or they do not set. Because let's be clear, a lot of people start relationships and they don't have conversations about boundaries or about what things that they would like to explore with their partner, or their things that they would not like to explore that their partner might like. It's a lot of things that come with that, and I don't think a lot of these conversations are ever being had until something happens and the reaction is just the reaction. So I think a lot of that would, if there were more communication, a lot of those kind of problems or fears would be resolved in a way. Like, just tell your partner what you like and what you don't.
Tell your partner what you like and what you don't, but also be honest about whether you and your partner are compatible based on that, because a lot of people, I feel like, are not honest about that, and that can make or break a relationship in itself. Because if you tell your
Yes.
partner that this is something that you want to partake in, and they like, oh no, I ain't cool with that, like, you can never do that with me.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to compromise that side of you to for the sake of being with this person, or are you going to be like, yeah, that's probably not going to work for me? Because I feel like if that's something that you enjoy and that's a part of you, and that's what you're into, and that's what brings you pleasure, then you should be able to safely and openly indulge in that and be with a partner who is okay with that.
Yes,
And if your
absolutely.
partner is not okay with that, then you may need to reevaluate who your partner is. And I ultimately feel like that should be considered a non-negotiable, because
Yeah.
I feel like we do compromise pleasure and what we identify as pleasure and pleasurable experiences for our partners oftentimes. And that's part of like that's part of the conversation about shame around sex
Yeah.
and what that looks like, so I think that some people probably have some deep thinking to do.
Oh yeah.
But if you have a question, a comment about the show, if you have a story, something juicy to share with us, please send it to thesoulfulstir@gmail.com. You can also DM us on any of the platforms, TikTok, Instagram. If you have a story and you'd like to share on air, we will not reveal your identity. We won't tell people who you are.
And it
We just want to know.
and it doesn't have to be like a sexy story. Like, tell us how you get caught shoplifting in Meyer. You know what I'm saying? We want to know. Like how they sat in the loss prevention room and called you out on that camera because you was trying to stick some steaks in your Louis Vuitton Neverfull. Tell us that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Some
tell us how
states.
you got caught using your cousin's food stamp card at the grocery store. Like, just, we want to know. It could
That
be
would
any
be
kind of
very
confession. It
juicy.
don't necessarily got to be sexual in nature. Even though y'all kind of spicy, y'all like those, but it could be anything. You know what I'm saying? You could tell us all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it could
We're
literally
here
be
for it.
anything worthwhile.
Yes,
Well, I think that's a wrap.
I think that is. I think we have to catch y'all next Sunday.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in with us. We really appreciate it. This has been another episode of The Soulful Stir.